Well, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to Zyxel's Tech Talk. My name is Tri Nguyen. I am the Market Development Manager here at Zyxel North America. Glad to have you to join us this morning or this afternoon, wherever you may be. Um, I'd like to make this interactive as we go through it. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to send me a question in the Q&A section. Uh, you could use the chat box, but it's easier to track when it's in the Q&A section. So please use that. But feel free. This is for your education and to helping you figure out why Zyxel and why we're a great partner to work with for all your networking solution needs. So a quick introduction. We're going to be going into to who we are and then go through some of the product lines and solutions, especially our cloud offering and maybe some of the new products that have been coming out that you might be interested in. So let's go ahead and get started. We have lots of slides to go through. So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. We've been fine-tuning how people connect and protect their networks for over 35 years, and we're here to find those out-of-tune beats, those off-key notes, to create harmony in everything we do, allowing our customers to really say goodbye to out-of-tune networks and say hello to working smarter from anywhere. We are Zyxel Networks. We've been in business since 1989, so over 37 years now, I guess you can say, of networking expertise, over 100 million devices making connections worldwide, 650 employees in 150 different markets, and over a million businesses work smarter with Zyxel solutions today. We are an award-winning brand recognized internationally in some of the awards that we've won recently on some of our products. We partner with industry leaders to provide different types of solutions. Some of the names that you recognize down here at the bottom, where we partner with and utilize some of their technologies integrated into our products, or partnered with them to deliver complete solutions from wireless site surveys all the way to the security side, malware protection, etc. So we are a channel company. So we have account managers that help you and help to service you on all of your needs. So we work with distribution. We go through the channel, but we also interface to help with the distribution, your distribution account managers to, with stock, with special pricing. So they help to orchestrate that from a pre-sales standpoint all the way to tech support if you need that, or a systems engineer to come help you with your application. So David, Andy, and Jacob, they manage those different regions there, as you can see on the map. And so feel free, whoever is your account manager, to reach out to them for your day-to-day needs. And I wanted to introduce you to Nebula. Work smarter, not harder with our cloud networking solutions. Nebula is the first full-stack cloud networking solutions for SMB. We'll be celebrating 10 years at towards the end of this year on when Nebula was launched. It is 100% cloud, ease of use, and it's a complete product stack from firewall security, switches to wireless access points. And over 135 products currently are supported in the Nebula Cloud platform in the dashboard. And we'll talk a little bit about why. So if you're looking to become an MSP, or you want to build out like an MSP type scenario, there's a lot of different things that come into play. You have to have the equipment, you have to install it, you have to have the monitoring, you have to have access to that equipment through that remote access. You have to store all of that data. You have to manage all the users and stuff. And so it could cost a lot of man hours to just set up the platforms just to get that kind of service offering available to you. And it could be complex, especially when you're trying to maintain or update those networks. But with Nebula, what it does is it takes some of those pieces out of the puzzle so that it allows, and we do it for you in the cloud. So all of the monitoring, the access to the equipment. So really all you need is the equipment itself that you purchase anyways, install into the customer. We do all the data storage. We do all of the upgrades and pushes for firmware changes, et cetera, or settings changes. And then you just have to manage that within the same platform. So really the investment for you to become an MSP or provide any kind of managed service is a kind of a key factor of you being able to offer it very quickly and easily, and without having to invest your own infrastructure into that. We do it all for you. So say hello to free network management, or hassle-free network management. Set up without even unboxing the product. There's a QR code that you can scan, or you can enter in the serial and MAC address information on the Nebula Cloud platform, assign it to the customer, and through the interface, it can download the firmware and then download the configuration. So you can literally be up in minutes. As fast as the device can get internet connectivity, it dials home and calls home to see who it belongs to and downloads that configuration and the latest firmware. You can monitor it through the app as well. So you can use the app to scan the devices in, the QR codes on the belly label or on the brown box itself to add it to your customers. And it's a multi-tier, multi-customer pane, a single pane of glass. So you have multiple customer organizations, and every customer can have multiple sites that you manage. And because it's in the cloud, you have access to it anytime, anywhere. Anywhere you have a browser, you're able to access the Nebula Control Center that gives you full configurations of the device as well as troubleshooting information to help manage that in case there is some sort of a ticket or call from a customer, so you can support them. I always say if you are a break fix kind of customer today, like you provide break fix services, you might as well use Nebula and get some of that visibility available to you so that you don't have to necessarily roll a truck to go visit the customer every time there's some call. You can do some initial troubleshooting, and most of the time you'll be able to solve their problems remotely. So it's built with MSPs, ISPs, and global ITs in mind. So even if you had a customer who has their own IT manager and they want to manage it all, the system can allow for you to do that, and you can still be the overarching kind of overseer of that network if necessary. But you can give them full control and then help them if you need to. It has cloud backup and restore. It has cloning capabilities, so you can clone configurations from site to site, and you can create templates to help you speed up the configuration. Its scale is as small of a site or customer base that you have, all the way up to thousands of customers that you have, or maybe one day you want to grow to. There's millions of devices on our Nebula Cloud platform today. There's hassle-free updates and patching updates for the products. So you just have to schedule. Most of them are defaulted to say automatically upgrade when there is a new firmware upgrade. Or you can schedule that to set the time frames during those times, so then you can minimize any kind of outages for your customer and be able to get the latest firmware as quickly as possible without you having to go to every single device and make that update manually. You can offer VPN type services as well. So building site to site VPNs is really quick and easy through our mesh VPN connectivity and the wizards that are available. So you literally can just choose which offices you want to have VPNs to come through on that customer, and it can build that for you if you're using the Zyxel products. It helps to visualize your network as well. So you get this visualization topology view in our Pro package, and it can detect even third-party devices as long as it's using like LLDP for network discovery protocol, that you can then use it to detect those third-party devices. You won't be able to configure them per se, but you can at least see what's connected to it. But for our devices, you'll be able to drill in. So some of the access points right here, you can then click on them, actually take you to that access point and be able to make changes in configurations. And it will also detect like the Windows machines that you see, these are like Androids or Windows or Apple devices that are connected to that access point, and be able to get information from that. It gives you live diagnostic tools and literal threat management. It's AI driven, so it's constantly evolving, so you don't need to for the cybersecurity functionality. We use Trellix, Avira, WebRoot, Gen, etc. to provide you the latest in security threats. And because it's in the cloud, it's AI driven, it's auto learning some of the latest threats that are out there and be able to provide protection even on zero-day threats. Switching is also AI powered in many ways, in that it can detect if there is some sort of broadcast storm or network issues, and then try to do some autocorrection or to block some of those threats or those network issues there from affecting the entire network. It's VLAN capable, it has bandwidth control, and also intelligent PoE. So it uses the PoE draw of the device against the budget versus the classification of it. So you can have actually power up more devices with ours. And then you can then use the PoE ports there. You can see, like, let's say, for example, in green, and you wanted to remotely reboot an access point or a camera or a phone system or a phone device, you can do that by port. You don't have to reboot the entire switch to get it to happen. Wireless is also has AI components as well, where it has Wi-Fi health and Wi-Fi aid. It's made to detect and monitor and optimize those network performances of those client devices, making sure that those devices are on cleaner channels or at the access point that is best suited for them at that point in time. So it helps to dynamically push and load balance devices as necessary in the cloud. And did I mention that it's free? So Nebula is a free platform at the very base of it. And so you can utilize Nebula out of the box for free. There are benefits to using our Pro license, and I'll talk about that. But first, I wanted to talk about what we call Nebula Flex. So Nebula Flex is a term that we use for our products that say it's flexible between your traditional standalone managed mode or managed in Nebula Cloud. So it's just flexible, and you can choose between the two. So you can standardize on a single hardware platform. And for customers who want to use standalone, they just don't want any cloud capabilities, then you can still manage it and then configure it that way. But then you can put it in the cloud. That same product can be moved to the cloud, and you can configure it in the cloud to work in that regard. For switches and access points, you have to choose the path at the beginning. And then if you want to reset and change it, you have to reconfigure it basically to be in the opposite. So standalone and Nebula, you kind of have to choose at the beginning of install. But you can still convert it to the other one. You just have to reboot it to get to the other side. For the firewalls, it's a little bit different. The firewalls do have a synced configuration. So whether you choose to manage it in the standalone or in the cloud, you can do that quickly and easily without having to change or reset any configurations. So Nebula comes as the base pack is free, and it has like 24 hours logs, etc. But most MSPs will use the Pro license because it gives you 365 days of logs. It gives you all of those AI features and enhancements and diagnostic tools that you would want to use in this kind of service model. But just know that you can have then different types of customers. You can have ones that are on the free mode and then ones that are on the managed service. So you can have multiple tiers of services that you're offering to your customers. The MSP license is another just kind of on the top. If you have, I would say, more than 10 to 20 customers or more than like 5 technicians that manage your MSP, then you might want to get the MSP pack. It allows for cross-organization templates and cloning and things like that to make it a lot easier for you to do. And then, of course, like I mentioned earlier, it supports over 130 different devices in our Nebula Cloud platform. And what's included? The base pack, some of the things I mentioned earlier with the 24 hours rolling log. The number of admin accounts on the free pack is a lot less. It's about 5. It's 5 accounts, admin accounts. But on the Pro pack, there's no limit, and you get that 1-year rolling log there. And a lot more features like configuration, backup, restore. And the one that I like the best is the cloning template capability. So you can create then templates of different types of customers and then clone them to new customers and use that as your baseline. So your configuration is very minimal effort. We also have a online licensing subscription platform called Zyxel for partners. And it allows for you to just manage all of your subscriptions, your licenses for security, as well as the Nebula platform licenses for devices that go pro in a single place. So you can import those devices that you want to be managed in here, and you can activate services in bulk. You can align the subscriptions so then they all terminate at the same time. You can all do that and organize it into a single kind of online platform. So if you like to learn more about that, you can reach out to your sales rep to do that. Pay as you go as a service. If you want to go kind of on a month to month, you can select different customers to do this. It's pay as you go, meaning you get full Nebula Pro, and if you have a security appliance there, it will be on the highest gold tier, broken down by month. So you get a monthly bill on all the customers that you decide to put on there. It makes it super easy for you to manage your customers that you say, hey, as long as they're paying you, then their subscription will stay on. So then we would leave it on. And then if they decide that they no longer want the service, then you can then turn it off the pay as you go, and then you won't get billed the next month. So it's just as it sounds, pay as you go service, and it makes it easy for you to not have to invest up front, whole years of service and try to recoup that from your customer. But it's an option that, depending on your business model, and especially for MSPs who go on a month-to-month basis, that's a great way to do it without having to invest a lot of capex onto bringing on new customers. So then you can really bring on a lot of customers really quickly, because it will just be instant profit, day one of your first bill. So talking a little bit about the technologies, the first one is wireless. We are committed in the design of our wireless technologies. So we put a lot of effort into that to maximize the speeds, the reliability, as well as the connectivity and the experience of the users that are there. It pushes all the standards that you would expect in an enterprise class wireless, smart mesh, WPA3, roaming as a standard, traffic shaping, security even at the edge point, and then advanced Wi-Fi features like I mentioned earlier with the Wi-Fi aid, the Wi-Fi health, as well as scheduled SSIDs and dynamic personal pre-shared keys. So I wanted to talk some about the technologies. One of the main issues of wireless that people complain about is poor signal strength. And usually it's because of co-channel interference. And so in order to combat co-channel interference, usually you have to turn down the power of the access points. But when you turn down the power, it causes more dead spots, and there's not a lot of overlap between the antennas or the radios or the access points. So it's not really a great solution to do that. In some ways, you have to find that balance between turning down the power and making sure it has coverage, right? So you have to deal with the interference by putting on different channels, etc. But what we have, Zyxel has a patented technology called Smart Antenna. It increases capacity, increases coverage while reducing interference at the same time. So it works really well. And here's a scenario of how it works. So you have an access point giving you coverage. There might be some co-channel interference or non-Wi-Fi interference that's causing some issues there in that coverage area. And what our product does with the Smart Antenna technology is that it will go through up to over 4,000 optimized antenna patterns and look for what is the most efficient way to communicate to that client. So it will transmit in that direction while receiving in that direction as well. So it helps to increase that capacity, increase that coverage, even when the device itself is not a smart antenna device. So this is perfect for high density applications in warehouses or in conference centers or in classrooms where you have a lot of noise, you have a lot of other devices that are there, or even for scanner tools that are using Wi-Fi, but they don't have any special technology in that handheld device. So this will help to facilitate that. And we have a full range of wireless products that work in all spaces, from the small office all the way up to large projects and verticals and campuses, etc. And I wanted to talk some of the technology on Wi-Fi 7. Why Wi-Fi 7? People always say, well, it's faster, stronger, right? It has faster speed capabilities. But today's offices today, they're less limited by, they're more limited by the internet speed itself that they can get. So some customers may say, well, why do I even need Wi-Fi 7? I can't do anything with 46 potential gigs of data when my internet connection is only 1 gig. And so I'll talk about why Wi-Fi 7. And it's mostly because of this multi-link operation. Yes, you do have higher speed capabilities. You can also have a higher channel bandwidth that you can utilize in a 6 gigahertz band, which is more than the 2.4 and 5 gigahertz combined. but mostly it's MLO that is going to be the most effective in helping customers deal with that code channel interference, and also people who complain their Wi-Fi doesn't work very well. Now, the speeds are also beneficial still if you do have applications or local applications like storage or backup or access to files that are on the local side, and you then build out a multi-gig or 10 gig network on the local side, then through wireless, it can achieve those wire speeds to get to those data points. So in those shares. So what is multi-link operation? Why is it beneficial? So Wi-Fi 6 and before, you only had 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, and your devices had to choose 2.4 or 5 gigahertz. You had to choose one of those channels. You couldn't do anything else. But with multi-link operation in Wi-Fi 7, client devices are being built so that they can talk to multiple channels at the same time. So you can talk on 2.4, 5, and 6 if it's a dual radio client and a triple radio antenna on the access point. But that ultimately gives you then low latency, increased data rates, high reliability, and avoids interference. So just imagine now you're talking on packets of data at 2.4 here. Some packets are coming in on 5 gigahertz because it's clean at that point in time. And again, with the AI piece, moving customers and clients to other channels, et cetera, to make it as open as possible, that helps to deal with these Wi-Fi related issues. So they will improve Wi-Fi in general. Now combine that with the smart antenna technology that we offer. Now I think it's going to be exponentially better than just having MLO by itself. But now, because now you're talking and receiving on all those channels at the same time, and and benefiting from that smart antenna capabilities on the multi-link. So we offered a couple years ago, we launched the world's first, this is our flagship Wi-Fi 7 access point. It is the world's first Wi-Fi 7 access point with smart antenna technology. So it gives you then very high bandwidth capabilities. It has 10 gig uplinks, some heat spreaders. It has that smart antenna technology. It's also shielded for cellular protection. It's also surge protected as well. And it helps to reduce the noise that comes in through the power, but also gives you a very good coverage, high capacity type Wi-Fi connectivity. We just launched our NWA30BE. This is Wi-Fi 7 in your palm. So it's a desktop palm type size device. Gives you 2.5 gig uplinks, but then gives you Wi-Fi 7 on dual radios. You can see here it's really cost effective. It doesn't have the 6 gigahertz radio, but it does have the 2.4 and 5 and give you MLO. So then you can still talk with the multi-link operation that Wi-Fi 7 benefits with on 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. We do offer higher end access points that then do a triple radio like the one before you saw if you want to do all three radios. And then we just launched our NWA55BE, just Wi-Fi 7 outdoor radio. So again, it's also a cost-effective 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. It doesn't have the 6 gigahertz range outdoors because it doesn't have a GPS. Kind of 6 gigahertz outdoors has to be more controlled, so it doesn't interfere with other 6 gigahertz bands that are licensed bands that are out there. But it can also do smart mesh MLO as well. It's built for outdoors, so it's IP55 rated from minus 25 degrees to 65 degrees Celsius on the temperature range. So it's good for a point-to-point, building-to-building connection. And then we've also launched our IAP500BE. It's a Wi-Fi 7 industrial access point. So it has that large temperature range, minus 25, but it's also DIN rail mountable and DC power capable, as well as PoE injectable. So it's made for those harsher environment applications, maybe in a warehouse or in a cold storage type environment. Our products with a complete solution can then give you great connectivity for high density locations like a campus, a school, for a car park or a dealership. We do a lot of those as well. And then the Wi-Fi 7 application, because of the better reduced latency and the higher speeds, you can do gaming, VR, AR type scenarios using a 10 gig network. So on the wired side is also an important piece within the network solution is because it powers up, not only does it power up access points and other PoE applications like IP cameras or um, physical security, access control, VoIP phones, etc. But then it also is the infrastructure that supplies the network with the high bandwidth speeds that are required. So with PoE injection in the higher power spaces there that you want to be able to use at those distances, you have to consider using Cat 6, Cat 6A if you're doing 10 gigs at the farthest distances. But otherwise, you could still use Cat 5e up to 5 gigs at 100 meters, but you won't be able to do 10 gig speeds. So just keep that in mind as you're upgrading customer networks. And some of the naming conventions that we use, it could be confusing, but it's somewhat straightforward. RG is just like a rugged switch, so it's typically a ruggedized switch. Our industrial switch will also be called like an RG model. A GS switch is our gigabit switch. MG switch is a gigabit switch, so it usually gives you 2.5 gig. XGS means that it's a gigabit switch with 10 gig uplinks. So the X is just a Roman numeral for 10. So it's a 10 gig uplink gigabit switch. XMG is a combination of that MG again. And so MG is the multi-gig switch with 10 gig uplinks. And XS switch, since you don't see a G there, then there's no gigabit. It's all 10 gig switch. So it's a 10 gig multi-gig capable switch. And then our CX switch is the Roman numeral C for 100. So it is a 100 gig capable switch. So it has 100 gig uplinks with 10 gig / 25 gig ports. If it ends in HP, then it's a PoE switch. If it's an EP, they typically are like a economy power or eco power type of budget. So it's a lower power budget. So it's a lower cost savings there. And then FP is like a full power switch. It's typically a high powered, very large power budget. And if it only ends in an F, then it's a fiber switch. So it has fiber ports in front. With PoE, we're already moving from the 30 watts into the 60 and the 90 watts. So just know that some of our products offer up to 90 watts of PoE. The switches accessories we now offering even 10 gig uplinks, 25 gig direct attached cables, and now 100 gig transceivers as well. And our switches in the Nebula platform gives you that VLAN capability. It has that machine learning that I mentioned before with the auto correction. Helps to streamline those deployments. And similar to the wireless, we also deal in those different spaces from the small business, small home office to small businesses to enterprise, to small enterprise, and different projects as well. So we have different lines that fulfill those different positions. Our PoE 12 3PD is a newer product, and I wanted to introduce it. It has very interesting capability. You can power the device, so that's why it's a PD. It's a PoE device. A powered device. So you can inject it with 60 watts of power on the uplink port, and it powers the device and then spits out up to 45 watts down the other ports. So you have a 45 watt power budget in those first 3 ports, maximum 30 watts per port. So you can do, 3 15-watt devices like cameras or access points, or you can do, one camera or one 30 watts. So again, it's smart, intelligent PoE as well. So depending on how much power draw is on those devices, that's how much it will take against the budget. Then you can then install. The beauty of that one was you can then install it, go 100 meters, have the device be powered, and then have Ethernet go another 100 meters to another camera. So it helps for you to not have to put in any special power or another device that's in between. This can do that for you. And it's also weather housed or weather hardened. So it's IP rated for, or weatherproof, I guess you can say. So it's outdoor, water rated, etc. We have PoE injectors that can offer all the way from 30 watts all the way up to 10 gig, 90 watts of PoE injection. Our XMG 1915 is the lowest level of a multi-gig cloud managed switch. So this is the most cost-effective solution that you can use for your customers to give you that full cloud networking experience with multi-gig. We have a gigabit version of this as well, but I wanted just to highlight multi-gig because that's where people are migrating to maximize Wi-Fi 7. The GS1350 series is an interesting class of product. It's made for CCTV, so it has extended range capabilities up to 250 meters. It has continuous PoE injection, so even if the device is being software rebooted, it will still give you power to those cameras. And it can auto detect when the camera is not functioning or not passing traffic, and then try to do a recovery by power cycling that PoE port. So it's quite good for those applications. The GS1920 is our gigabit switch. It's like this is our bread and butter in the gigabit space. It's Nebula Flex capable, but it gives you 8-port versions, 24-port, and 48 with and without PoE, up to 375 watts of PoE power. Our XGS 1935 is the 10 gig version of those switches. So it has 10 gig uplinks with and without PoE on the 24 and 48 ports. Our new Model XS 1935 series is our 10 gig models. This replaced our XS 1930 series. So these give you 10 gig, all 10 gig ports on 8 plus 2 SFP uplinks. Or this one gives you all 10 gig fiber SFP pluses and 2 copper 10 gig. And this one is the PoE version, so that's where you see the orange band. And they're either orange or yellow, depending on the power. This gives you 90 watts of PoE power, so that's why it's an orange band. And it gives you then 90 watts up to 400 watts on this switch. The XGS 2220 is a full layer 2, layer 3 managed switch and also manageable in the cloud. So it can do CLI as well as cloud management. It does offer you a very large power budget, up to 960 watts on the 54FP version, or even on the 30 watts, it's a 400 watt PoE, gives you up to the PoE capability on the power. And some of them will give you the 30 and the 60 watt here. We just launched our XMG 2230 series, so it's a full layer 2 managed, layer 3 managed switch, but also gives you multi-gig ports. So all these ports here are 2.5 gig capable with 10 gig uplinks and very high power budgets. So you can see on here, it also supports dual power supply, so it has an AC and DC power supply. And for the 28 HP, it comes as an AC power 700 watts, but if you use a DC connector, it will give you then 1400 watts. Whereas the 52 port is 960 watt to start, and then DC version or the DC injection gives you 2400 watts of PoE power. So for very high density Wi-Fi 7, those kinds of applications will be that utilize a lot of PoE power. That this is kind of the product that you would use. Very cost effective as well. We've been really aggressive on this price on these models. The XS3800 is like an aggregation top of the rack type switch with all 10 gig ports with SFP plus or copper, so you get to choose. And then we launched last year our CX4800. This one is a layer 3 cloud manageable 25/100 gig aggregation switch. So it comes with 48 ports of 10/25 gig with 8 100 gig uplink ports. It's hot swappable power and fans. It's cloud manageable, and it has that layer 3 access if you need that. It's coming in the future, I think in the next couple months. So it's used for small offices, small home offices, and then larger offices. You can use these switches in combination with our access points. And then the last technology I wanted to talk about is our cybersecurity application, cybersecurity hardware platform. It gives you cybersecurity protection through some of these partners, and this one gives you a better idea of who all we use. So for sandboxing, for web filtering, for intrusion detection, malware, cloud filtering, geo IP enforcement, IP reputation, application control. So we utilize all of these partners to deliver their technology and their expertise in maintaining those technologies into our box. And number one question I always get is, well, if you have this box, do I need, um, virus software on my customers' laptops, etc.? The answer is yes, because this will block against the latest, like 600,000 threats that are deemed most important to protect now because of outbreaks, etc. But then it can never go into your machine, go into those computers to remove any old devices or viruses. And those signatures on the software contain billions of signatures from the entire history of the internet that have any malware detection and any signatures that are there. So you still need to have those to remove those viruses. But what this does is it gives you that initial protection, becomes that first line of defense, so that your devices, if they don't have yet the latest signatures or don't protect against that particular virus yet, we will protect against it based on what is found in the cloud environment. So the services, we have content filtering, comes with 30-day trial, secure Wi-Fi if you want to use that. Connect Protect integrates with our access points, but most importantly is the Gold Security Platform product. The Gold Security Pack for our products gives you the full feature set. All of those features that you saw in that previous slide is opened and available to give you the full network security that businesses need today. And it's also AI powered. So any 0-day threats can be detected, be sent into a sandbox, executed so that it can decide if it is malware, and then deliver that information, that signature, to all other devices that are using that same infrastructure, not only for that customer, but anywhere in the world that uses our product or that service model, some of those partners that we use. We integrate AI cybersecurity intelligence in the reporting. So we have a reporting tool called Seki Reporter that's integrated into our Nebula platform. So you can switch between them. You can then see threats. You can customize reports. You can create customized reports with the Pro license to put your logo and offer that as the report to your customer. So customers will always say, well, why do I need to buy all these security features or functions? How do I even know that it's working? This report will tell you. It will tell you how many viruses or malware have been blocked. It will tell you who's using the most bandwidth, which websites they've been going to, what categories of websites they've been going to, etc., and deliver that to your customer and their bill, and it makes sense for them to continue it. Or what I will tell, if they're still kind of hesitant, put them on the 30-day trial and integrate and implement this secure reporter, so that after 30 days you can showcase to them, these are the malware we've blocked. This is the information that you can get every month if you subscribe to this service. And most cases there, once they see how much this product is doing from a cybersecurity standpoint, there's no reason for them to not buy it or to not subscribe to it, because then it's their risk, it's their business network, that it could be compromised if they don't use this service. So it's very helpful in that regard. And we also have that same tiered here with the small offices all the way to larger projects, etc., for the small medium business. Now the USG Flex series is now part of the USG Flex H series, so we don't have that in anymore. So just keep that in mind. The USG Lite 60AX is our small office. It has built-in subscription for ransomware protection, so it's subscription free. You can always upgrade it to the content filtering services, but it is a standalone kind of box that is mesh capable, Wi-Fi 6. You can mesh it to those access points that we showcased earlier. It has dual 2.5 gig WAN that can load balance and failover now with the new firmware. It's manageable in our Nebula cloud. So we use this for a lot of POS systems or customers just wanting it for a small home office. It has built-in a VPN capability as well. And this is our entry-level full UTM capable firewall. So the USG Flex 50H and the HP. The HP means it has integrated PoE. So it gives you 30 watts of PoE, so you can power up 5G routers or other Wi-Fi if you want to add Wi-Fi to that network. So it's a great PoE power for that. High performance, delivers up to 2 gigs of SPI firewall throughput. This is probably good for, I would say, a 300 meg connection, internet connection for that office. So depending on, again, there's the speed that they're using. And this is our flagship USG Flex 700H. It has 15 gigs capable SPI firewall with 4 gigs of full UTM. All the services turned on, that throughput. And so I would rate this at a 2.5 gig connection, internet WAN connection, if you're needing that kind of WAN speeds for the full internet solution. Now, our H series models, those firewalls, even if you bought without any license, it does come with basic or baseline reputation filtering and some Secure Reporter capabilities. But we know if you're buying a security device, you might as well buy the full security licenses. So that way you can, really protect. It's kind of like buying an alarm system and not using any of the alarm detection functions. So you might as well, have the full feature there if you're buying a security appliance. And what I usually do, this is kind of the full range of models that we have in the space. And what I will usually do is based on if you're using it for security purposes, I will take this UTM throughput number, which is on our data sheet, and take about 50 to 60% of this number. And that is what the internet connection for that customer speed it's capable of kind of handling to maximize that speed. So that's why I say that 50H, it's like, 300 megs, maybe 350 capable here on the full UTM. Now, if you're not doing UTM at all, if you just need it for a firewall with no malware protection services, then you can use this higher number here in the SPI throughput. And again, you still take the 50 to 60% rule in play. So this could work for a gigabit connection with no UTM services turned on. And then that's why here the 4 gig USG Flex 700, I say it's 2.5 gig capable with full UTM turned on. It gives you then enough overhead to manage the speeds that you need. Now, we did have a lot of questions from partners and customers who use Ubiquiti, or they're looking at Ubiquiti Dream Machines to provide security. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll ask them, well, why do you use it? They said, well, it's really easy. You just flip a little toggle and it turns on security. And I will say, well, I usually ask, well, what is really doing? What does that security mean? Well, it does some sort of protection. So we wanted to test what is it, how well it does protect. So we use the Tolly Group, which is a third-party independent verification company, and they look at test methodology. They look at the test results, the products that are involved. Is it fair? They do all of that scrutiny to make sure that you're not just doing a bias test. So then they allow for you to do the test and they verify the results. And this is the results of that. With Zyxel, our detection of the malware detection and blocking rates that we tested against, we are identifying in the 80 to 90 percentile of those threats, whereas the Ubiquiti Dream Machine is then only in like the sub 10% percentile, or even less in that. And then we said, well, that's Ubiquiti. What about, how does Zyxel stand up against maybe the de facto kind of small business enterprise firewall company like a SonicWall? So we said, hey, let's throw us against SonicWall. So doing the same test methodology, the results of the SonicWall was showing, in the average of like the 40 percentile in terms of detection rates on malware efficacy. So the report is available. We did this report back in September 2025, and that's the publication that's there. If you want the actual full PDF publication, you can reach out to your sales manager, account manager, and they will send it to you. Or you can go to the Tolly.com and sign up for free and get that publication from Zyxel. So this is great for teleworkers at the home, in the offices, or connecting large offices together via VPN. So any kind of application you can think of, we can even do load balance and failover on the VPN, multiple WAN connectivity, etc. So this is a very cost-effective way of doing that. Especially today, people want the the cloud backup, or they want backup. So they have their internet connection, their main one, and then they'll get a Starlink or another connection, and they want to use that either active V or cellular connection. They want to use active active, or they do an active passive kind of connection. So only when the main connection goes down, it can flop over to the backup. So we are, again, just in the channel. We work through D&H, Ingram, TD Synnex, Wave, Target, and Blue Star in providing our products to the channel. We have some other distributors that are also in the works that are coming as well. But we offer different tiers: bronze, silver, gold. We want you to get to gold because it gives you the max benefit discounts at distribution up front, so that you can make maximum margins there, so that we can protect those margins. Qualifying sales to be silver is just $6K every 6 months, so it's $1K a month. Or to be gold is $2K a month in sales of Zyxel products. If you'd like to connect with us, on LinkedIn is Zyxel-US-channel, and you can watch this video and other videos, webinars, etc. on our YouTube at Zyxel America channel. You can also connect with me. You can search on LinkedIn for just Zyxel Tri, T-R-I, and you'll find me and be able to connect with me. So please do this. And we do have a few minutes. I know that's a lot of slides. If you do have any questions, please go ahead and ask in the Q&A section. If you don't have any questions now, but maybe you could think of some later, you can always reach out to your account manager, or you can send me an email. So you can send me tri at Zyxel.com, and I will try to get those answered and or send it to the right people. So it doesn't look like there's any questions right now. I will give it another 30 seconds or so, but if you'd like to drop off because you don't have any questions, thank you very much for joining, and look forward to seeing you or talking to you at another Zyxel Tech Talk. All right, I think that's it. Well, thank you very much for joining, and hope to see you and talk to you again soon. Have a great rest of your day.